Hello and welcome to part 2 of our Rakshabandhan special Hamper workshop. In today's workshop, I'm going to pinpoint out two different problems which is generally faced by all the home bakers or pastry chefs during the time of Friendship Day, Rakshabandhan or Diwali time, where you have to make hampers, but you are confused what all items to put in the hampers to make it more attractive. And the second problem which you face is how to price them. So it should be budget friendly and appealing to the people who are willing to buy your hampers. So in this workshop, we will be addressing both the problems today. I will be teaching you three different recipes. First is almond clusters, second is hot chocolate bomb, and third is coffee chocolate truffles. These all three recipes are very much eye-catchy and people will surely appreciate these recipe items in your hampers. And then last we will see how to price them accordingly, and it will be very beneficial not just for these three recipes, but you will be able to price your complete hamper, or if any bakery products you are planning to launch, you will be able to price them as well. So stay tuned till the end. Now let's dive into our first recipe. The first and foremost recipe which we will be looking is almond clusters. You might be wondering why almond clusters? It's very simple. No, there is specific detail in measurements. Many a time when you are working with the almond clusters or making almond clusters, you must have noticed that sometimes your chocolate layer is too thick, or your almonds are very less compared to the chocolate, which does not give the proper mouthfeel of chocolatey and almondy crunch. But today, with the measurements I will be sharing you and how you can pack it in different ways to make your hamper much more attractive will surely help you in your hamper journey. So let's dive into our first recipe of almond clusters. Before we dive into the recipe, let me show you how much ingredients I will be using to make almond clusters. This is very important. Though this recipe is very simple, made with just three ingredients: almonds, tempered chocolate and salt, but many times what people do mistake is that sometimes the chocolate is way too much or the chocolate is way too less, so the mouthfeel is not properly subtle, that they sometimes get too much of the almond and chocolate is very less, or sometimes the almond is very less and it's too much chocolatey mouthfeel. So today what I'm going to do is mainly share you the measurements of or the ratio of the almonds to chocolate, so you will have a clear picture that how your final result will be available to you, and how you will be able to pack it differently into the jars, or if you just want to individually wrap it. So here I have taken 50 grams of roasted almonds, and here I have taken 65 grams of melted tempered chocolate. Okay, you can see I have not taken the exact amount, which will be making very thin coat of the chocolate. I have taken 1 tablespoon more, so around 65 grams of 15 grams of chocolate more than compared to the almonds, so it will give a proper coating layer to almonds, and it will have that balanced mouthfeel of chocolate and almond in your almond cluster. So if you want to increase the recipe, how you can do is you can take 100 grams of almonds and 130 grams of chocolate. In similar way, you can just keep on multiplying by 2. I'll be using a pinch of salt because it's a very less quantity, 65 grams, so I will be just using a pinch of salt. But when you increase, you can, if you're using 100 grams of almond and 130 grams of chocolate, you can add 3 grams of salt in your recipe. So here I have just taken the melted and tempered chocolate. I'll be adding our roasted almonds in it, then pinch of salt in it, and then mix it properly. Also make sure that you are mixing it properly so the salt dissolves and properly gets mixed all around the chocolate, and your almonds are also properly coated with the chocolate. Now in this recipe it's very versatile. You can make it in so many ways. Like if you want to just make the chunks of the almonds, put it in the chocolate, and then spread it completely on the big table or the OHP sheet, then just break it and serve it. You can do that well as well. You can keep the full almonds, make the bigger clusters, which can be individually sold or packed and served. Or else what we will be doing today is we will be making cluster of around 3 to 4 almonds. So it will be small clusters, so you can easily put it in glass jars or your containers and put it in your Rakshabandhan hampers. Now you can see how it's properly coated not too thick, not too thin. There is still small amount of chocolate, not just sticking to the almonds, but there is still chocolate, so it will give the proper structure and proper almonds. Now here I have taken OHP sheet and a base to it, and with help of spoon we will just start dropping clusters of 3 to 4 almonds. You see, this is a cute small bites, so you can directly put it in the jars without any wrapper work. Directly put it in the jar, and then you can pack the jar and put it in the your hamper box. Or else, if you want to put the single serve, you just want to add one single almond cluster, you can make this big one, wrap it with the foil, and then put it in the hamper box as well. So it completely depends on you. I'm just gonna show you how different ways can be utilized to adjust around your hamper box. Now I'm just gonna do the same with all the clusters, whatever suits you the best. Now if you can see it, there is not too much of chocolate flowing around the almonds, and there is not very thin layer. You can see a very sufficient layer of chocolate all around the almonds. If you are just directly gonna put it into the jars, you can sprinkle some sea salt on top of it as well. If you are gonna wrap it, then I would suggest you can avoid it and just utilize the salt which you have added in the chocolate itself. You can see we have few amount of chocolate left about. Don't worry, you can reutilize this. You can just temper it again and then again use it to make the clusters or into your ganaches. And here our almond clusters are ready. I will just put it in refrigerator for around 2 to 3 minutes until the chocolate sets, and then it will be ready to be packed or served. Our almond clusters are ready. You can see how this cute looking almond clusters are ready. You can put it in jars or make a bigger cluster and pack it with foil, or you can even individually pack this so it will look like just golden chunks. You can pack it however you like. I hope you like the recipe of almond clusters. I am pretty sure by now you will know the proper ratio of chocolate to almonds, so that you will be able to make perfect almond clusters each and every time. You can make small almond clusters, put it in jar, or big almond clusters, and then wrap it with foil to directly put it in your hamper. As well as you can make a long sheet of almond clusters and then break it unevenly and put it in jar hamper as well. Now let's move on to our second recipe, that is hot chocolate bomb. This recipe was once upon a time very famous and trendy, but now people has just forgotten it. But we can bring it back to life with some more minute details when we will be making it. The few tips and tricks which I will be showing you will give you 100% sure result with hot chocolate bomb. So without wasting any time, let's dive into our second recipe, hot chocolate bomb. To make hot chocolate bomb, there is not much in the recipe, but it's all about technique. So you need to make a chocolate shell which should be thin enough that when you put it in hot milk, it should quickly melt. But it should be thick enough that it should hold all the contents which you are putting into the chocolate ball. So achieving that proper balance of the thickness of chocolate shell is the key to make our hot chocolate bomb. For that, you will need tempered chocolate. If you want to make with compound chocolate, you can follow the same method but use the compound. For compounds, you don't need to temper it, just melt the compound in a bowl and start applying onto the mold. If you are using the cabbage chocolate, make sure to, if you are using dark cabbage chocolate, then make sure the temperature ranges between 31 to 32 degrees Celsius, then only start applying it on the mold, or else it will not set properly and all the contents which you will put in the silicone mold will stick to the chocolate and may not properly come out as well. So make sure that chocolate is properly tempered. Once chocolate is tempered, take a brush. If you just pour directly into the mold, there is a chances that the chocolate layer may form very thick, or there might be chances of wastage of the chocolate. So it's always preferred that you use a brush, flat brush, and dip it into the chocolate and start applying it on the shell. Now, because of the help of brush, you can control the thickness of the shell, and if required, you can apply second coat or third coat very easily, and you can cover each and every edge. Well, if you pour it directly into the mold, then there are chances that it will fall into the different cavities as well, and some corners may be thick, some will be thin. And applying it, or if you need a second coat, then it might get difficult to coat it second time. So I will just follow this method and make shells. Always aim to cover all the corners, and in the very first time don't focus on making the shell in the first go. Make sure in the first go you cover all the corners. That will be the main portion. Once you cover all the corners, then you can, in the second coat, you can focus on adding the thickness to your shell. You can see I have done the first coat. It looks completely covered from all the edges. Now we'll just let it set for 2 minutes and then do the second coat to give the thickness to our shells. Now our first coat has set properly. Let's do the second coat. Now doing the second coat, we will make sure to focus on the thickness of the shell. Not too thick, but thick enough to hold our contents inside it. Make sure to focus on the edge as well. So if the edge is little bit thick, you will be able to stick both the shells together properly. So you can see I am applying it from the center, then moving outside, and to give the edges, I am just gonna rub the brush on the outer edge. We will give the finishing while we will be rubbing our shells on the hot plate. So you can feel free to rub your brush on the edges to make the edges thick. Now I'm going to do same on all the shells. Now I've done the second coat. You can see there is no space or any holes in the shell, and the edges are also thick enough to stick with each other. So now we will let it set completely and then we will unmold it. Now our chocolate shell have set properly. Let me remove it and show it to you. You can see because of the silicone mold there will be little less gloss on the shells, but you can see still it's pretty glossy. Now we will remove all the chocolate shells, and first we will give finishing to our shells, then put our fillings inside it, and then we will lock it with each other and make a complete hot chocolate bomb. See, the cells are ready. I will bring the hot plate and then we will stick it with each other. To make the hot plate, I have taken a saucepan, add some water in it and boiled it, and then put this aluminum tray on top of it. Now we will take our chocolate shell, rub it on the top of aluminum tray and just remove it, and we will have proper finishing on shells. We'll do with all, and then we will fill it with our fillings for milk chocolate bomb. Now I will just keep this aside. We will need it again when we will be sticking our two shells together. So here I will be taking chocolate premix or something which we will use to make hot chocolate. You can use any of the milk drinks you want to add, and if you want to take it for the order. In India you can take Bonvita, Horlicks or something like that as well. We will just put spoonful of it on the shells. Make sure you have to just put it in half shells. Half shells in the sense the number of half shells. If you are having total 6 shells, then you will have to put it in just 3 of them, because another 3 which we will be using to cover it and stick it on the top. Put this spoonful of milk premix, and then here I have marshmallows. You can be creative as much as you want. You can put any of the chocolates, chocolate chips, or anything you like in this, and pack it for the orders. Here I have taken smaller ones, so I will be just using these 2 ingredients to fill our hot chocolate bombs. Now you can see I have filled this one. Now we will just cover it. Make sure to put everything inside so you have the finishing when covering with the shells. Don't worry if it is having too much height, because another shell will have a hollow space, so it will be okay. Just make sure it's not sticking on the sides. Now again I will take our hot plate over here. Rub your empty shell on the hot plate, pick it up, and simply stick with each other. Make sure all the sides align, and then properly seal it with the finger, or if you are using brush, you can use brush as well. Okay, our first hot chocolate bomb is ready. I will do the similar thing with all other hot chocolate bomb, and our balls will be ready. So hot chocolate bombs are ready. Now if you want to individually wrap it, you can use foil wrapper and wrap it and put it in the hampers, or else if you are using the jars to pack it, or if plastic packing, transparent packing you are using, then what you can do is drizzle some chocolate on top of it and put some sprinkles to make it more attractive. You can do same thing with milk chocolate and white chocolate as well. Whatever suits you, and whatever it's all up to your creativity. So now let's keep this aside and move forward. I will show you at the end that how this our hot chocolate bomb will work by putting it into the milk. Now it's time to put our hot chocolate bomb into hot milk. We will see how it will work. So here I have taken the hot chocolate bomb which I made. Now let's put it into milk. Wait for 1 or 2 seconds, and you can see it opening up. See, it has opened up on its own, and see chocolate has started to melt, and our chocolate mix of milk has also started to mix in it. Now you must be clear that sometimes tips and tricks are much more important compared to the whole recipe. I'm sure you will be making hot chocolate bomb not just for hampers, but also entertain your kids, or just to enjoy a hot chocolate cup at your home. Now we will dive into third recipe. Third recipe is a bit professional, and I will be teaching you step by step procedure how you can make it. The third recipe which we will be looking at is coffee truffle balls, but I will be using real espresso coffee along with the chocolate and cream. The measurement will play the very significant role to give the firmer truffle balls, as well as when you bite into it, it should just melt in your mouth. So without any wasting time, let's dive into the recipe. Before we dive into our recipe, let me show you what all ingredients I will be using to make our coffee truffle balls. The first ingredient which I will be using is dark chocolate. Here I have taken 100 grams of dark chocolate. This chocolate will be the base and main structure of our truffle balls. It will add a richness to our coffee truffle balls, and the cocoa butter in our chocolate will help it set at the room temperature, and we will be able to roll it very easily. The next ingredient which I will be using is heavy cream. Here I have taken 50 grams of heavy cream. So I have taken a 2:1 ratio. So 100 grams of chocolate and 50 grams of cream. So 2 parts of chocolate and 1 part of cream. We want to keep the cream ratios less so we can roll it and shape our coffee truffle balls. If you add more cream, then it won't set properly and you won't be able to roll it or slice it into pieces. So we will be using 2:1 ratio. Here cream will add moisture and fat to our truffle balls, and the fat content from the cream will provide the softness to our truffle balls, whereas the cocoa butter from the chocolate will help it set at the room temperature. So two different types of fat will help in two different ways. The next ingredient which I have taken is an espresso shot. I have taken 1 tablespoon of espresso shot. This will add that punch of brewed espresso and the aroma and depth to our coffee truffle balls. If you don't have espresso available, you can mix the instant coffee mix into water and make espresso. Make sure to keep the measurement of 15 ml only, so that the truffle balls sets properly and it does not stay loose when you make your truffle balls. Then here I have instant coffee powder mix. I have taken half teaspoon of instant coffee. This will intensify the depth of the flavors and also boost the coffee flavor in the recipe. It will make it more aromatic when you will be serving it. Now the next ingredient which I will be using is butter. This is optional. If you want to add it, you can add it. If you don't want to add it, you can skip it as well. Same with the instant coffee powder. You can skip both of this ingredient, but to increase the depth of the flavor and the butter, which will provide that gloss and melt in mouth feel, so I have been using both of ingredients. But if you want to skip it, you can skip it. So butter will give that melt in mouth feel and gloss to our truffle balls, whereas our instant coffee powder will give more depth to our flavors. And then a pinch of salt to balance the sweetness and overall flavors of the coffee truffle balls. Now let's start making our coffee truffle balls. First of all, I will simmer our heavy cream. Make sure you don't boil it. We just have to simmer it, because if you boil it, then there are chances that your heavy cream might get split. So we will just simmer it. Once the cream starts to simmer, we will pour it over the chocolate and make a homogeneous ganache mixture. What I generally like to do is that when the ratio of the cream is less, I prefer to add chocolate into the cream in a saucepan. So with the little bit heat around the saucepan will also help in melting the chocolate, as well as the simmering cream will help to melt the chocolate. Now we will just mix it until cream starts to simmer. Our cream has started to simmer. Now we will add our chocolate in it and make a homogeneous mixture, and we will make a 2:1 ratio ganache. Once the ganache is ready, we will fold in our rest of the ingredients. You can see our homogeneous mixture of ganache is ready. Now we will add our espresso shot and instant coffee powder. Mix it well. Many a times, if there is a difference of the temperature, it might feel that your ganache has split. If you feel that your ganache has split, then add a small amount of warm milk to again restore the homogeneous mixture of ganache. I added the espresso coffee at last because I already kept it at the room temperature, and if I would have added it earlier, then there were chances that it would have split our ganache. So once you add the chocolate, cream and chocolate temperature comes down, and then you can easily fold in your espresso shot. And in the hot mixture, once you add the butter, it will also start to melt very easily. Okay, here our ganache is ready. We will just add a pinch of salt, mix it, and then we will let it rest. Okay, this looks super smooth, and the aroma of the coffee is very strong and intense, and I'm just enjoying it very much. And I'm sure if you will be using the same method and recipe, you will also love this recipe. Because the coffee has the water content, the shelf life will be little less. It will go up to around 5 to 7 days. But if you want to increase the shelf life, and if you are okay and in the city where the alcohol truffles are appreciated, then you can use alcohol as well. So you can make alcohol truffle, which will have more shelf life to it. So it can stay up to around 15 days as well. Now I will just transfer it to one of the bowl, and then we will let it come to completely at room temperature. Then we will let it set in refrigerator until it completely sets. Once it will set, then we will take it out and roll it into balls. You can see how beautiful and delicious this looks. First, let it come to room temperature on your tabletop, and then put it in the refrigerator to set completely. Here, our truffle ganache has been sitting in the refrigerator and set properly. Now we will scoop it into the measurements and then let it set again for around 3 to 4 minutes, because we have used real espresso coffee in it. So it will need more time to set before you roll it. So we will scoop it into the required size, and then again let it set, and then we will roll it. I generally prefer around 15 to 20 grams of ball, but if you want to make smaller one, you can make smaller as well, and if you want to make bigger one, you can surely do that as well. Okay, so I'm just gonna scoop it and then again let it set in refrigerator for some time. You can see here I have scooped it out in measurements. Now I will again let it set in refrigerator for some time. Then we will roll it, and then we can coat it with chocolate or roll it in cocoa powder as well. Now chocolate truffle balls have been setting in refrigerator for some time, and here I have taken cocoa powder. I'm willing to put it directly into the jar, so I will be covering it with the cocoa powder. If you want to foil wrap it individually, then you can use melted chocolate, make the truffle ball, and dip it into the chocolate. Now I will just pick one and start rolling it. Make a smooth bowl and put it on the tray again. Once our coffee truffle balls will be rolled and set properly, you can see how smooth this looks. Now you can directly dip it into the melted chocolate to make a thin coat of chocolate, and cover it with foil and store it, or else you can just put it in the cocoa powder and coat a thin layer of cocoa powder, so it will give that bittery taste, and as well as it will keep the truffle balls dry, so you can directly put it in the jar as well. Now in similar way we will cover all our truffle balls, and our coffee truffle balls will be ready. This coffee truffle balls are my personal favorite because it has two most favorite things of mine is coffee and chocolate. So I just love this coffee truffle balls. And I'm sure you will also enjoy this recipe while you are making it and trying it for yourself. Now, you must have enjoyed all three recipes and surely be putting somewhere in your hampers. May it be Friendship Day hampers, Rakshabandhan hampers, or your Diwali hampers. But now we will look at the very important part, that is how you can price them. Now I have created a complete PDF which I call Beconomics. This Beconomics is shared with all the interns who work with me. Whenever they join us first, the first and foremost thing I want them to learn is how to price this all the desserts or recipes which they are making, because this is the pioneer of your dessert. Why? Because if you will not price it properly, then you will not be able to make profit, or you will just be in no profit no loss zone. So understanding the Beconomics is very much important. So the basic guide to Beconomics, I have mentioned it in PDF. The long and elaborated one, we will be covering it soon, but this one will be properly suited for you wherever you are wanting to make a hamper or any desserts you are trying to. So do check out the Beconomics link in the description below. Open it, it will be accessible to all of you guys. You can watch it, download it, or screenshot it and use it in your day-to-day life. With this, I would like to end today's session, and do let me know if you would like to see a second workshop on Rakshabandhan hampers itself with more such unique recipes. Also, I have mentioned the recipes like brownies and cakes in our description below, so you can check that out as well if you are willing to put that in hamper menu. Until then, keep learning, keep baking, be crazy.